believe that you guys have reached your end. There's the rosemary. I love rosemary. Strawberries. I started from actual strawberries and celery. This is what I'm after. So this is oregano and oregano. Look at that. I've never really tried my hand at drying herbs, but what the heck, I'll give it a shot. I love rosemary. Known by now, oregano is my absolute favorite herb. I just love oregano. I love everything. I love the smell. I love the taste. I love oregano. All right, let's let those dry out, and hopefully I'll have some dried herbs to get me through part of the winter anyway. So these are Yukon exterior structure hex head lag screws. They're 16s and they're 6-inch long, and they are going to go right up in and pull those rafters down and lock them in. So basically these replace hurricane ties, and they're structurally designed for trusses, but I'm going to use them for the rafters to hold them down and keep them in place. I could do this whole row on the bottom today. I'm not going to do the top row until things dry out a bit. We have a day without rain, so that I don't have to get all soaking wet kneeling on those scaffolding up there, because it's probably pretty wet up there. So right on here, common applications: commercial and residential, landscaping, heavy-duty lumber, laminated veneer lumber, deck framing, trusses, ledgers, posts, beams, and much, much more. So yeah, these are definitely designed for what I'm using them for. Yukon structural number 16 lags. It's like $50 for the box, but there's, I don't know how many are in here. Yeah, there's 50 in there, so like $1 a piece. That's a lot cheaper than the hurricane ties. And guess what? It doesn't require as many nails. It's just in and done. I like them. I will have to get probably one of the metal Simpson ties for the side there. Let's go right here, see if that works. That'll do, baby, that'll do. Basically, I'm just getting an angle here. Getting it lined up on the center of that rafter. And we're good. There we go. So it'll be the same thing on this side. I'll need a Simpson tie here. So I'm going to need to pick up 4 Simpson ties. It's probably overkill. So every one of these rafters has been toe-nailed in on both sides, on the top and on the bottom. So, you know, nail here on the bottom, same thing on the top. But this is just, as opposed to using hurricane ties. Ward taught me this trick when we were doing the rafters, or when we were doing the trusses over at Brother Will's house. And when I looked them up, they are 100%. That's what these are. These are suitable for trusses. So if they're suitable for trusses, they should be suitable for rafters. That's my thought. And it's nice just to screw them all in. And the Simpson ties on the outside, it's just a safety factor. So I'm going to have not a lot of weight on here, because with the pitch of this roof, the snow should slide pretty well. But we get winds up here that are pretty decent. And I want to make sure that there is going to be no fluctuation in this roof once it's done. I think that's about it for today. I'm going to fix up a big dinner though, so if you want to hang out and check that out a little bit later on, I'll be doing that as well. But overall, I'm pretty darn happy with how everything has been going here. You know, the weather being better would always be nice. I took a minute also to go through and remove all the screws from all the boards that I had in here, and to take the nails out of all the cross pieces so that we can get all that cleaned up. And one thing that I noticed that kind of surprised me was the braces that I had on the outside here, when I pushed the walls up to stand the walls up, on the front, more than one of them had a broken screw in them, which just goes to show you that screws are they're not structural. They're going to break. These are supposed to be deck screws, so they're supposed to be pretty strong. But I had quite a few of them. Let me spin this around here and show you. Right, I had quite a few of them here that just snapped off in the back. So, kind of crazy. That's why you always build stuff with nails, because they're more structural. Screws aren't. So just to give you an idea of, again, those structural screws, I don't want to beat this dead horse, but so if you see how that rafter is notched, right, it comes down over the top of the top plate one. So that screw that goes in from the other side on the bottom goes all the way up, probably halfway into that rafter, just to lock them in place. by after I got home from work today. I think it's time to start Purlins. I ordered the metal yesterday for the roof. The whole thing, all the trim package and everything for it came to $1,300 and some change. Really happy with that. So the local company I use is North Star Metals, and they don't get anything for the announcement on this. I just want to tell you that they're a great company on the Kenai Peninsula to deal with. I stopped off yesterday. I ordered 9 sheets cut at 15 feet each, plus all the trim package. They said they'd call me when it was ready, and I got a call at 8 o'clock this morning saying it's ready. But I told them I wasn't picking it up till Friday. It's Wednesday now. I got the video edited yesterday, so I've got some time to get busy today, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure out some purlins, see what we can do. First things first, though, I need to get those truss screws in to the top rafters, and then I can start doing the purlins. There we go, underneath every one of those and at the top of the stud all the way down. Now I can figure out how I'm going to do the purlins, which should not really be that difficult. I'll have to do a little bit of math, but it won't be that bad. Okay, so this is going to be the top. I'm going to pull this down to see where it's on the outside of that one. Well, if I put this as the top of the next one, then it will automatically be at 2 feet on center, and I just keep pulling that all the way down. And I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. It's going to be, since this is 14 plus feet or 15 plus feet, I'm going to be 2 foot on center all the way down till I get to the bottom. I might be able to skip a row. We'll see when I get down there. If not, I'll have to throw one at 1 foot just to get it cleaned up, but we'll see. All right, it's 4 o'clock. That's it. I was looking for that. I had to sharpen another one because I couldn't find that. So it's 4 o'clock. I'm going to try and do at least one more, maybe two. Well, I was up there, my daughter called. She goes, "Where are you?" And I go, I'm on the roof. And she goes, "Why did you answer your phone when you're on the roof?" I said, "I'm on the scaffolding." Oh, okay. But I'm going to try and do maybe at least this last one I got ready to go right now. Maybe two more. And then, because the next ones will be from a ladder. And then that'll probably be it because I got to work tomorrow. I work today. And like I said, it's 4, so I'm going to have to grab something for dinner. We'll come back when I got more done. A little chilly this morning, 48 degrees. So the game plan for today, since we got some dry weather, is to get the rest of the purlins up on here. My biggest problem, though, is the same problem I had when I was working on the roof. Unless I have somebody here to move the camera around and push play and push record and all that, it's kind of tough to record this. And especially with the fact that I don't have a lot of area back here cleared out, it's hard to operate the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. I might have a solution for that. We'll see if I can play around with that a bit later. But yeah, what I'd like to do today is get the rest of the purlins done. But for sure, I want to get this base purlin and the first one up done all the way across, because that will allow me to install the bottom trim package here on the back of the cabin, the drip edge on the back. So from everything that I've read, and I didn't do the trim on the cabin over here, but I set it up so that I could do it, so that I can go back because I have all that. The first thing I want to do is install that drip edge. Then I install the roof on top of that. That way there is no place for the water to run underneath and come out over this back fascia. Then when I install the metal on the top, then I put the front drip edge on. That goes over the metal roof, and the side or gable end drip edges go up the sides over the metal roofing as well, and that seals everything in so that water can't get up underneath the roof. This is a shop roof. I am not sheeting the roof. I'm just using purlins. It's not going to be insulated, but I still want it to be dry inside. That's the main goal here. I might pull a piece of scaffolding out, pop it here, just so I have an easy way to climb on and off the roof without going between the rafters like I was doing yesterday. So I might do that. That wouldn't be a bad deal. 48 degrees this morning, so we are getting chillier, but no S word in sight yet. Thank goodness. They've had some in the mountains, what we call termination dust. It's on its way. But it's probably 2/3 of the way into September, so I still have a good 4 or 5 weeks before I have to worry about the S word. And we don't say the S word until it's in the forecast. I'm pretty pleased overall. I've had a lot of great comments on this series of building so far, and I got a call last night from my daughter and my son-in-law. He builds for a living. That's what he does, and he's like just totally blown away, that I've gotten as much done as I have. I've had some help. I've had help raising the walls, and I had help with the rafters, but other than that, it's just me. It's me doing all of it together. I probably will see if I can talk some folks into coming by and give me a hand when I'm putting metal on the roof. I don't know, I might do the first sheet by myself, we'll see. Another comment I had was on this window over here. I wanted to point this out to you guys. I thought I described it when I was framing walls, but I might have cut that out of the editing. Let me explain what I did here. So I have no professional training in building at all, none whatsoever. And everything that I'm doing, I have learned off of the University of YouTube. And so when I got ready to frame these walls, I went back and I watched some videos again on framing. There's a couple of channels and a couple of sites that I use extensively because they've got professional contractors that if on some different groups, that if I leave a comment, an actual contractor / carpenter will get back to me and tell me exactly what I should be doing or shouldn't be doing. That was the reason why those walls were not built at 8 feet on the cabin and then a pony wall the rest of the way up. It was suggested by them that, look, you want total strength, one piece, one rigid wall all the way up, which is why I did it that way, because the original plan was, well, I'll just build a wall and then I'll add a pony wall on the top. And anyway, so from everything that I saw and everything that I read, and I gotta believe that it's true, my only load-bearing walls are the front wall and the back wall here. The rafters come off of each, and so they're sitting on here, they're sitting on here. So because those are load-bearing walls, I definitely had to make sure that I had jack studs, king studs, cripples, and drawing a blank. I'm not quite awake yet. Headers above the doors and windows in every one of those. But because this is a non-load-bearing wall, I just had to frame in the wall. That's all I had to do. And the reason why there's no header above here is because there's no load on this wall. And the reason why I actually went and built what I did on there was to keep my layout for nails, you know, for nailing my boards, my plywood and stuff across there. So that's why there's no jack studs in here. That's why I just have, you know, 2 king studs on the side, because there's no load on this wall from this structure. So it's just an easy opening for a window. I hope that answers some of the questions that I had on that. I guess I'm going to go ahead and get all my tools out and get ready to go here. I move the scaffolding over. I should have propped up the planks because they're probably going to be wet. But we'll see what we can get done. I'm going to work on this all day long today. I got a steak ready for the grill later on tonight. Hello, ladies. It's raining a bit, but it's not raining that bad. Today I got done with work early and picked up the roof for the shed. So I got all the metal as far as that goes. Headed over here because even though it's raining, I want to try and see if this will fit. So these ones I cut to make myself 24 inch on center. These ones I cut because the bottom is a little longer on that last one, and I really didn't feel like throwing an extra board in there. It's not much. It's only longer by about 3 inches. So I already have one up there. I'm going to move the ladder back over to here and see how this lines up, and I'll show you what my idea is. We'll see if it works. Look at where that sun is hitting. Holy smokes. It's like 11:30 in the morning, and I have full sunlight on the whole top of that. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be a lot of power generating there. I'm going to put all 4 of the solar panels across the front of this, I think, because I'm going to catch a ton. But as it drops, those trees will become an issue, but most of those will be gone this winter anyway. I'll go ahead and drop them. I got a lot of dead trees in there, so at least cut the tops off of them so I can keep that sun. All right, so I've got one there, and I've got one back behind me there, and then I have this next 2x4 cut to length. This one isn't nailed in yet. So in theory, this should line up pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. Could be a little bit longer. But I could actually just kind of hold that up a little too. There we go. Now I'm lined up. And I can move that up just, looks like I'm off by about 1/8 of an inch there. And then the next pieces will lay on top of this, say that one there, and then I'll slap the next board in and everything will be 24 inches on center all the way to the top. So this should make it go a lot faster tomorrow, because it's kind of raining today. And tomorrow we're supposed to have, knock on wood, drier weather, which would be awesome. I've got the ladder underneath me here. But yeah, this gap, I mean, basically center of 2x4 there to center, or center 2x4 there to center 2x4 there is 24 inches. So I made sure those were 24 inches on center. It gives me a good nailing surface for the metal, and that's the same 24 inches on center all the way down till this one. And then from here to here, that piece is actually 24 inches, that one. I just couldn't see slapping another one here and then having the bottom piece, although that probably wouldn't have been a bad idea either. But yeah, I don't need that much. I don't need that much down here at the bottom. And my measuring skills are getting much better. Measure that out and it ended freaking perfect. I like it. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Purlins are installed. Next is metal on the roof. I'm Sean in Alaska. Have yourself a great week.